What's going on, everybody? Checking in. Friday Night Live. It's going to be kind of a calm night. I am still tired, I think, from my trip, and I felt like tonight, rather than doing a full kit build, tonight we're going to take it easy. And I wanted to work on my TRX-6 because I have plans to run it this weekend anyway. So I felt like tonight was a good night to just do a little once over on this thing before I take it out this weekend, hopefully on Sunday. So that is my plan for this weekend. And Matt had his out on his Tuesday live stream as well, which just gave me even more reason. But specifically, the reason that I wanted to get it out was because I've got all of the new tires and wheels here ready for it. Dan Wilson, who I work with, he glued up a full new set, actually full set plus 2. So that is the plan. I haven't touched this thing basically since the Monthly Mayhem. That means that it really hasn't. It got ran that time and then put away. So since then, I think I've had it on a live stream here or there, but nothing official for this. I've done quite a bit of work to it, but I feel like I need to do a little bit of checking over, and I think I may do some math tonight so that I can do some gearing adjustments, since that is likely also something I should do. I am going to have to take off the Hoosiers, and we're going to lose the nice, cool, big white lettering for them. But I think I should probably keep these things around still for drag, other than the one set that's completely roasted. But the rest of these are still decent drag tires for what I'm going to do. Carbon fiber bottom deck, yes. So I redid this entire under package on this truck, and it is all carbon fiber now. So that was a big process that I ended up using a lot of carbon fiber for. So you can see that big shiny under tray for it now. I think that I'm more nervous because of the carbon fiber now than anything, just because it's so pretty now, and I don't want to explode it. So hopefully it's as straight and dependable as ever. How come you didn't get the Traxxas drag slicks? Well, the Traxxas drag slicks weren't out by the time that I actually ordered the drag slicks that we're putting on this truck. And the added width of those, I don't even know that they would fit for exactly what I've got going on. But plus, I need the belted, because with the 2 rear tires being so close, all the people leaving because Nicole's not here. Yeah, exactly. Which, that, you know what? Last weekend we had Schultz on. This weekend, Solo. Next weekend, I think Nicole's out of town. So 3 weeks in a row. But you know what? I can't be mad about it. Where'd you get the Dale number 3 at? I had that made by a friend of mine here, not too far from me, Joe. He cut them out on his vinyl cutter for me. So that was who did all the graphics for this. R.I.P. Chiefs balls, miss you fuckers. That's yes. So that is actually where Nicole is tonight. She is with Chief locked in the spare bedroom. He's got 2 more days of quarantine where he has to kind of keep it, take it easy, because yes, he is less of a man now after this week. On Tuesday, he went in and had his danglers removed. But poor guy, but he's actually doing super well. But that was Nicole's excuse. She's like, honestly, if there's nobody in that room, he screams, where are you? So, where's your wife? She's the life. Yeah, I know. But she will return after everybody's done. I forgot. Yeah, the belted issue. Yeah, the rear tires touching was definitely the issue, and I think that was probably robbing me some mile per hour. So I think by going to the belted on this thing, we're going to unlock some speed, and the new motor as well should be a big boost. But I think just going to the reactions is going to help quite a bit. You could be next, man. Well, I think she did send me a text. He had a pretty pissed off face after the first day, so she was feeling bad for him. Join everyone at Axialfest and be live there. Yeah, I know. It'd be a good time, but I don't think that there's any chance of that happening with my last minute planning abilities. DK. DK is he's always got the funny usernames now. He's starting a thing. So yeah, like I was saying, I need to look at my final gearing as well. That's going to be another thing that I just want to make sure I'm in good shape with. I feel like I could lower the shocks more, but I just don't know if I want to disassemble these whole things again. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be okay and I can just run it like it is. Hey Josh, when you get some shirts, yeah, I need to get Nicole on. That is her thing. She's got most of it done. She's just got to get it taken care of. When are you going to run that thing? I'll bring my unused infraction and smoke it. I think Sunday. I think my plan is Sunday. I talked to Moose Jaw to see if he is going to be possibly available to help point a camera, just in case things go terribly wrong or terribly right even. So then either would be helpful. So that's the thing. Brian Sherwood, thank you. Did you get SBG stickers? Not me. No, I did not either. Sometimes I end up getting a set from Matt later, but depending if he has extra, but I think he might have even oversold this time. So he killed it with his sticker sales this time, which is good for him. Off topic question. What's your favorite LCG chassis for a TRX4? I've never done one of the LCG TRX4 chassis. Normally, if I'm trying to do something LCG, I'm not using the Traxxas stuff. I usually go with axles that a different style. So I don't normally. TRX4s are awesome for a lot of things, but when I'm really trying to be competitive, I usually don't go TRX4 based. So get Schultz on. I want to see more of you guys fighting over real estate events. We talked about some other options. We both really had a great time at that event in Denver, and I think we both want to get some things set up for other comps like that in the future. So we have plans to build some rigs that are, as appropriate for the class as possible, maybe with a little bit better preparation even. And in that case, that means that we have rigs to build. So he's on board as well. I still have the stock steering servo in this thing, and I feel like that could be a curse, but at this point we are still running it. So I don't know. I don't quite understand why I didn't have it plugged in. My plan at this point is to run the stock radio one more time, because I've still got the telemetry expander in here. And what I'm going to do is run it and my GNSS, which is that GPS link, and just do a calibration run with them. I had used my Dynamite GPS, and it had matched up pretty closely to the Traxxas link. So I'm just going to do one calibration run, make sure everything's right there, and then we'll switch over to a Futaba radio, and that will be what we run. Jeremiah, thank you, sir. Happy I got my van 1997 GMC Safari conversion. The Safari was a conversion? Needs work and smells like gear oil because the spilled in the back soaked in the carpet. That's going to be a hard one to get rid of the smell of. Gear oil seems to penetrate quite a bit. You're going to need to replace that carpet. Anyone see the new Traxxas hot rods? Yeah, the Factory 5 hot rods. It is on the Fortec 3.0 chassis, so it's on the same chassis as the new C8 car. But so it'll be a nice, kind of a nicer, large size. But that's, we'll see. I know when I'm not Matt, killing me. We need you, Matt number 2. Wait, what? Are you going to Axialfest 2021? I will be at Axialfest here in California. Yes. Just hanging out. We won't be doing the same booth stuff like typical, but we will be there. I'm just going to be there having fun, running courses, things like that. So what's going on with the rear shock that's leaned in? Is that standard? I think that it is. So I needed to have the shocks here, this here for the rear body post position. The stock position may have been a little bit different since it had the inner fenders, which that might have ended up putting them slightly different, but I don't think I can actually move these around to put the shock forward but keep the body post location the same. These are TRX4 Sport shock towers because I was trying to cut weight, so that's why. The little things to just try and clean up this chassis as much as possible. Unrelated question, can a mod ban another mod? You know what? I don't know. That would be an interesting experiment. I have a few runs on my VS410 Pro. I'm wondering what SCX-102 brass knuckles fit good. I don't know. I don't run any of them myself, but most of them should fit. And if anything, they might just not have as much steering angle, which you could just grind if you wanted to increase the steering angle, because likely where it would hit would be on the inside of the steering arm. So the VS410 Pro has a decent amount of angle in that area. So that would be all you'd be trying to make. Is a VP Pro with a VFD allowable at Axialfest? No, because it's not an Axial. You have to run an Axial at Axialfest. So if it's not an Axial, then no. I don't nothing against that one has come up. That question has come up so many times, but no, I don't understand. Did you buy it from Axial? Did it say Axial on the box anywhere that you bought any of your vehicles? If not, you cannot take it. What is a big ESC? Do you mean what is this big ESC? If you mean this one, this is the Traxxas VXL 8S, which was the one that Traxxas had provided to Matt and I for this challenge, and it's just the one that I had ended up. I mean, I wasn't going to change it at this point. It ended up working great. It's a novel concept regarding Axialfest. You're right. I feel like I hear dragging when I move this axle, and I don't know why. It's like it's rubbing somewhere. Oh, I do see where the end of the axle barely touches the inside of this diffuser. It's only at full compression. I bet when I put a battery in it and it just gives it a little bit of sag, it'll be fine. It's fine. Be fine. How come Ripper can run at Axialfest then? Because that is an Axial SCX-102. The Ripper is just a cage that goes on top of an SCX-102. That's all that was. The Ripper wasn't a full vehicle. It was just a cage that went on top of an Axial. That was the whole point of it being built that way. What about a VP 3-gear transmission? Yeah, if it's in an Axial vehicle, then that it's you can run Axial parts, or Axial upgraded Axial parts like a Vanquish 3-gear transmission, because that's an Axial style transmission. So that's why. But yeah, again, Ripper, not an actual vehicle. It's just a top. Have you tried putting the 10.3 straight axles under a VS410 chassis? Yes, I did it on video. Of like I don't know, what was that? What would it have been? 4 or 5 months ago. I did it on a video. And there's a link set specifically for it on the Vanquish website that you can go purchase. There you go. Everyone's sorry, I'm like the Ripper. Oh yes, the questions that if Axial Kit is electronics. Wait, if Axial Kit is electronics open game. Not true. I heard, oh god, I heard Jay Constant's coming out with a body called Josh that comes with arts and crafts foam interior. Oh man, did you guys see the new Proline body that came out yesterday? That was like the MRAP style. What an interesting decision that was. I couldn't hardly believe that one when I saw it. Wow, that came out of nowhere. So, well, this is what I got going on. This is channel 2, channel. Oh, there's 2 channel 1s. I had a steering servo extension in here for some reason, but I may need that instead for my receiver or my ESC. I just want to get this thing in. Once it's all set, I'm going to be much happier that I'm ready to take it out. Sunday, I'm hoping to take it out maybe Sunday morning before it gets so ridiculous hot here. 2. Go. We'll get that zip tied into place. So you can't run a scale trans at Axialfest. Not yet. Correct. Not if it's a non-axial style transmission. That is correct. I seen a guy with Viterra get turned away and just couldn't understand why. Yeah, like I can't understand. Is it an axial? No. Well then no. This is a crawler I got off the Bang Gang. Be okay for Axialfest. Oops, and ooh. So I missed a bunch of comments. They went a little fast, but anyway. Aside from brass drive shafts, you're the worst RC related parts accessory I've seen. Ooh, I mean, brass chassis braces are probably one of the most heinous things I can imagine. But you know, the ball bearing style skid plates also pretty comical. You know, some of those. Hot is good for traction, nothing else. Oh, you know what? I'll take the less traction if the heat would just go away. The new Mustang body from Proline looks amazing. So good. They did such a good job with that. They're sick of you guys always talking about the Lloyds, so they made something you cool air is denser, so technically the heat will be good for speed. Oh man. It's supposed to be 109 Sunday. You're going to need to be up early. Is it supposed to? Man, it was 109 yesterday and today, and we shut the shop down at noon both days, just too hot. Wouldn't a hotter road be better for traction? Traction has not been the issue with this car. I just needed more power, I think. At least that's my thought. More power cures everything. Mark, thank you, sir. $5. My wife is begging you to stop. We're playing a drinking game. We have to every time you flex the suspension. I can't help it. It's so much fun to flex the suspension on me. Oof. Yeah, that will not end well for any of you. Let's see. I am going to get prepared. I'm going to have a new receiver ready. I'm going to get some of the wiring cleaned up. I do feel like I need to do a once over on a couple of these axles. I tightened one of them up, but I think I tightened them both up already, so at least we're in decent shape there. My steering is definitely not the tightest, but it seemed to track okay so far. Ooh, You think, oh, sorry, ever think about selling the copy of the Aero for the TRX6? I mean, it would be so specific and it would be expensive. I don't know. I mean, it's not that hard. I have the files, but it would be expensive to cut and get done for every, like, if somebody really wanted it, I could make them a set, but it would be a number that would hurt to hear from about anybody, I think. My truck said 112 when I left the shop today. Yeah, Gunnar, when you left, I think when I pulled out of the shop, right after you had left, mine said, yeah, like 110, 111. It got to 112 in Visalia. I can't stand it. Oof. 12S full send. So this motor, what was this motor? This is a 2200 kV. And it's definitely a big boy motor. So that's what we should do. I'm gonna work out the math on that. I gotta find out what that gear rate. I put the overdrive gears in. So TRX4 overdrive gear. It is a Trax overdrive gear is a 1230 what? 1233. Okay. So I think, do I have the gear calculator on here? No, we're gonna have to download that again. Maybe do a full bearing replacement. Jeremiah, I was thinking about that. You know how many bearings there are in this car? I just don't know if I want to. All right, here we go. Gear calculator. There's too many of them. RC gear calculator. I could just do the math myself, but there it is. Gear speed. That's the one I wanted. The Rift desperately needs vanquished diff spools. Agreed. I think I'll have those done soon. That is because that was one of the ones that, like, I think I'll end up locking mine as well. So we'll be good there. I missed whatever you're referring. Whatever. Who shimmed the center axle on an Axial 6x6? How many? Oh, I think that's always going to depend on the actual car too. Traxxas Factory 5 hot rods. They send you one yet? I don't. I think it's basically the same as the Fortec 3.0 with the C8. So I don't expect that. I imagine I'm going to actually take this C8 to the office. We're going to have a little competition in the parking lot because I think that's the best shot for that video to be fun. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button if you're hanging around. We have, all right, done. We're going to add a setup, TRX6. If I go to overhead, hey, you got floating, I guess it's floating Josh in the corner. So we're going to adjust this. We're going to go to a 6 cell because that's what I'm planning to run. Now, let's see. We're going to say 3.8 volts per cell just to be a little bit more. I mean, I could even go down to like 3.6 that'll only go down to 3.75, but that'll be all right. So we've got to come up with the final drive ratio basically, because that's what we have to. Floating Josh is the best Josh. So I've got to do a little bit of hand math because this thing doesn't have enough values to we're going to use a Milwaukee pamphlet for scratch pad. So we said, what do we say? Is it 3-to-1 out of those? 1233 is the, so 33 divided by 12. So 2.75 in the diffs. And then we need the Traxxas final ratio, which I may have to look up as well. Let's say we'll go Traxxas TRX6 manual. I'm gonna open that up because the Traxxas manuals have a gearing chart in them, and that's what I need. I shim the diff only in between the driver cup and the outer bearing. Oh, I think, yeah, the Axial SCX6, though, I think they ended up popping a little bit. The reason why my dad wants a Rift is because everyone else we've seen is buying one. Josh! I mean, they're a good time. I enjoy it. But definitely, you know, when you got that much, I definitely don't think that 4S is the needed setup in that. And I've been firm on that since the first day. After driving it the first time, I was like, oh, that is a lot. Okay. Spur. So I should check what my spur and pinion is in here anyway. So we're going to pull some of this apart. That. So I made a custom 3D printed mount that goes on top of my carbon fiber plate so that it like fits perfectly to my VXL 8S and gives me the mounting spaces still. Oh, did I just drop a spacer? No, something. Sounded like something dropped. Ah, yes, it was a spacer. I don't remember what that was for. Oh, yes, I do now. It was there were spacers on top of the motor plate. But that's okay. So there's one screw that holds this like tiki window on. Oh, good thing I checked that because I never put a pinion gear on here. Details, man, details. That's interesting. Why in the world did I not do that? I was probably thinking I really need to run through gear calculations. What is this one? That's a 16 tooth. I think I was running more than that before. That's a 13 is all. All right. We're gonna do some looking then. Do I have more? I do have more pinions in here too. There we go. This is my old box of TRX6 parts. Oh, I have the extra stickers too that Joe had made me at the time. Maybe we should add some more of those back to the man, I got lots of pinions. Jeez. I have a cap pack that I never added. You ever seen those? Those are just to help like smooth out the power delivery. Okay. So that gives us more to do slightly. That's not bad, though. Did you put steel spur gear in it? I did not. Although I did buy an extra one for the heavy metal Bronco. Which, man, let me see. Right here, we have a steel spur gear. Which tooth count was this? 45 tooth, so it's the larger. It's pretty freaking heavy, though. Okay. Hmm. I'm afraid to put a steel spur gear in almost. I'm worried that if I do that, I'll end up destroying something else. And normally I would rather get rid of all my weak points, but this truck is just begging for stupid amounts of power to just destroy things. Hmm. I don't think that I'm going to install the steel spur. I think that I'm just asking for issues. Oh, man. It's honestly, I didn't blow up spur gears on acceleration. It was on deceleration. So I would almost be okay with it because it was just trying to slow the truck down. Granted, man, if you really get into it for braking, it could really explode some stuff still. Urgh. Having a really hard time deciding that. Plastic spur is the fuse. It is a fuse. That is for sure. I currently have the 45 tooth spur in there. We're gonna say there's who lost their balls, Chief or Josh. Yeah. It's man. I'm still running all the plastic drive shafts in here. Put the damn spur on. Oh man. Will Vanquish ever sell AR-45 housings without axle shafts and everything? No, because it's not a stock axle housing. Or wait, AR-45 axles are sold without shafts. It's only sold. The Capra is sold with shafts. So it doesn't include axle shafts. So yes, there you go. It's already that way. Keep the plastic spur. It's better to have a weak point. Cheap, easy to fix. It's not that easy to fix. It's the problem. If it was easier to fix, I would be less hesitant about doing it. Or I guess I would. Man, I don't know. Put it in, Josh. Stop making excuses. Full send. I'm leaving it in. I was able to do burnouts with the plastic spur. So it's like it had plenty of power. It's staying in for now. High gear. I'm looking at the manual again right now. Fine. High gear is a 632 number of spur gear teeth, number of pinion teeth times 632 equals final ratio. Okay. So we had a 632 ratio before I removed the portals though. So removing the portal is a decent amount of reduction. I think the top gear on the portal is 9. but I need to find what the bottom gear is. And that is the other one. No slipper, plastic spurs. I do have the slipper removed. So it is locked out currently. So that's I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to stay what would be considered the safe route. Is this live stream being filmed with a Nintendo DS, or is the internet connection just bad? I don't know. It's just my normal setup, which, I mean, it could be that I was floating in the corner, which is done off of a less than quality of my normal camera. So that's probably what you were seeing. So right now I'm just trying to find, I got to find what the, no, this is not a cat. I need to know, I got to find the ratio of the portal on a TRX, which is different. TRX portal gears. See what that is. I don't know that there is a bottom. Does anybody know what the bottom tooth count is on a TRX4? 23 tooth is what it is. So it's a 9-tooth top and a 23-tooth bottom. So it is the same as a Capra. Interesting. Okay. So 23 divided by 9 is 2.55. And the normal gear ratio was, so 6.32. So normally you would take two ratios and multiply them. So I should be able to divide them. 6.32 divided by 2.5. So it should be 2.5 in the transmission. And that doesn't, I guess that sounds right. The high gear could be just about 1-to-1. Without the spur and pinion. Oh, but that doesn't take into account underdrive. We're going to call the transmission 1-to-1 because I think it was close to that. I know I talked about this in the Monthly Mayhem video series when I was actually looking at all of the gear ratios before. And what I could do is look up the TRX4 Sport kit manual. Assembly manual. There we go. Mike J. Want to fill my SCX10 2 shocks. We haven't seen you drink shock oil lately. You're right. And I hate building shocks, so I'm definitely not going to volunteer to do that. Okay. TRX4 Sport manual. The one kit that Traxxas does have, and they have a pretty awesome manual. Now, granted, it only has one kit or one drive ratio in it, and it's the low gear, not the high gear. Fail boat. I failed again. I'm going to go for one of the other manuals. And see if we can. They usually at least have decent exploded views in some of these other ones. So we're going to go to that. Send it. Yeah. That is. They don't have an exploded view. I'm just swinging and missing. TRX4, I'm going to go with that. There's a kit with 2-speed and kicking diffs too. Oh, Brent, you're right. What is that one? That's the, like, you're totally right. completely forgot about that. So use Google Images. Yeah, I was trying to I'm going to the exploded views so that I can actually I can see all of the transmission gears itself, since that, oh wait, no, that's front. I don't want the front. I want the transmission. There we go. Got my VP pit mat and tool tray today. Hopefully it'll be keeping my bench kind of not a disaster. Yeah, I have them here as well, and somehow my bench also still ends up a disaster. So I can't seemingly help you too much. Okay, transmission and transfer case gears. Here we go. Inputs and outputs. So we've got the high gears. Swapping photometer receiver on an RC, any reason that would alter ESC calibration or endpoints for steering, shifting, etc., or can I just swap and go without extra adjust? No, you have to redo all adjustments. Yeah, everything is different. You need to calibrate the ESC to your radio. The endpoints are saved within a radio, not within a vehicle. So you need to redo all calibration, all electronics, the whole deal. Now, if you're just saying you're using the same radio, but just putting in a different receiver, then everything should be the same. There shouldn't be any difference there. So DK, what do you, 30 tooth driving, 24 tooth, 30 tooth driving a 24 tooth, 0.8 to 1. You're awesome. That was about what I remembered. And that was, you're a scholar and a gentleman. So we got 2.75 in the diffs. We've got 0.8 in the trans. And then we've got our spur and pinion. So just our 2.75 times our 0.8, 2.2 to 1 is our current drive before spur and pinion. So now we can go back to our calculadora. Okay, so our spur is a 45. Our trans ratio, which is going to be basically our total overall, 2.2. Tire diameter, what are we, like 100 millimeter? Like 103 to 105. So we'll just say 104. Motor kV is 2200 kV. All right, so our theoretical top speed is 103 miles per hour with a 17 tooth pinion. We go to a 15, we're still at 91. Now that is with a, say we go, I've seen people say that taking and estimating a 1 cell less on your LiPo is the most conservative way. So if I say 3.8 at a 5 cell, 3.8 volts per cell on a 5 cell rather than a 6 cell, and 45, 17, that puts me at theoretical top speed of 77. Then you got air resistance and all that. So I think that's a little slow. I'd like a little bit more cushion than that. So if we go to a 16 tooth pinion, that's an 82. 17 tooth, 87 miles an hour. A theoretical 87. This is a 16 tooth pinion here. This is a 17. Oh, 16 or 17. I say we start with the 16 tooth. Keep it Maybe we try and keep it somewhat happy. Yeah. That could push me to 82. Man, I don't. Maybe let's do the 17. We're gonna do the 17. I think that I've got smaller, I've got larger, but 17 just feels about right. Now these are 5mm bore pinions, so they will work on this motor. When in doubt, go in the middle. Yeah, you know you're only going to get one run at it. That's not, I don't know that that's totally true. I could have more opportunities. It was super controllable last time. I don't know if it will remain controllable as it possibly approaches 70 miles an hour. Okay, one thing I do need is if I run, oh no, I can't run a 17 tooth. With the 45 tooth spur, I can only run up to a 16 tooth. And I am afraid of getting too much lower with my gear ratio. So we're going to throw the 16 in there instead. I was all brave until then. So we're going back to 16 tooth, theoretical top speed of 82 miles an hour. Now that does, man, 42,000 RPMs on the motor. That's a little spicy. I've already got the motor set at that, the largest position. What did I tell you, Josh? I missed it. If you told me that that's all I could run, then I apologize. 16 tooth it is. Oh, we put far too much. Loctite must have been right on the... Gonna get some of that excess off there. Might as well just wipe that thing clean. Start over. So that was definitely too much Loctite. All right. So now I need to make sure that I've got it lined up in the right spot. Needs to go a little back. See how that looks. Still go back about a 16th. Oh, too far. That'll do it. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. So now that we have the proper, did you not put the 39 tooth spur? Or no, I had the 45 tooth in here before, and the metal spur I have here also 45 tooth, but we're leaving the kiss your ankles goodbye. I will not be standing at the level where this thing should be aiming at me. I am going to try to because not only did I put all this beautiful carbon fiber on, I also realized how sharp that carbon fiber can be. So now if this thing came at me, we would have much bigger issues than previously. Will I need to wear hockey gear to film this? Moose Jaw, I also would like to have you in an elevated position. So when it takes out the ladder you're standing on, you have further to fall. Okay. So this is my carbon fiber plate that mounts the Wild Turbo fan and my ESC. So it's got two spacers. One, I need a spare screw currently. I'm going to put the spare screw through the hole just so that I can line up the spacers with it. So this screw over here is actually gets a much longer one that holds the ESC in. So just using that to get it lined up. Double check that it's in the proper spot. It is. Tighten it down. Now we can remove that screw. All right. Back in with the ESC. There we go. Okay. I guess I didn't remember that needing a lock nut, but it may. This thing is going to total your Gladiator if it hits it. If it hit the vehicle, I think that I was a little bit braver previously by parking my vehicle so close. I think that with what I'm attempting to do with this, I will take more precautions than previously. So come on. What's the goal here? Sorry, just joined. The goal will be to hit 70. If you're not familiar with what this vehicle is, then this was started as a TRX6 on the series that Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself did, where we took TRX6s and the goal was to try and make them go as fast as we could with power systems that Traxxas provided. So we couldn't put bigger bigger motors than provided or multiple motors or anything like that. We had to use the motors and the ESCs that they provided, which was the Traxxas VXL 8S, and at the time, the 540 XL brushless motor, which was the motor from the Haas and a couple of other things. Yeah, I don't know. You haven't lived until you've seen an Arma felony come flying at you at 90 plus. I have seen the felonies, or the limitless do over 100. And I've got my limitless here that should be set up to do far more than that as well. But I'm telling you, seeing those do it is impressive, but it almost looks way easier and compared to seeing solid axle 6-wheel drive bricks going 65. So those are fancy Allen wrenches. Where can I pick these up? Right? There's nothing better than the bearing supported Vanquish drivers. just so smooth. They just spin so easy. Psh, it's worth it. All right, we are going to get this screw lined up. I just can't get it lined up. It's fine. It's not fine. We're going plaid with this one, boy. Yes. You know what? I should watch Spaceballs just so that I understand what references you're making. Spacer? What spacer? No, I have this. Oh, the spacers under. I put those in there. They're both in there. They're hard to see, but so can you? So you can see them there. See a little aluminum standoffs? They're in there. So what I'm trying to do now is just I made those spacers so that this thing fit right over this battery tray, and it does, but it's just like right there. Just I'm not saying that everything on this is designed as well as possible. Oh, I forgot. I kept this 2mm ball end. No, that's a 2.5. This is the 2mm ball end. Okay. Now we got tons of room. All right, what am I missing here? Put together the VFD trans on the lost spacer behind the slipper eliminator. How important is that? It's not super important, but if you lost the aluminum one, there's also a plastic one in the parts trees. So there is a backup in there. So go back and find the plastic one and you'll be okay. It's just this location of this other I say run Fling Kings at 70. That may cause other issues. With rubbing and things like that. So I think I'm gonna have to stay with if they find belted Fling Kings, then maybe. All right, finally got it. Done fighting with that thing. That was more of a pain in the ass than it should have been. And I almost regret it because it's probably not that needed. And if I want to change the spur, I have to take care of it. You're killing me with those pliers. What's wrong with? I mean, they're not great. Obviously, they're shitty pliers, but it was because of my battery tray stop. Phoenix. Nate Schwab, thank you, sir. Have you thought about going with GRPs. They're not too much smaller than those slicks. I have the GRPs, and while they're not too much smaller, they do run 17 mil, and then I'd have to run 17. I bought 17 mil adapters, but with the adapter and the tires and everything, it was just a lot on the ends of the axles, where these are, native 12 millimeter, and it just reduced a lot of the weight and all of that. So the other tires that I ran on this before the Hoosiers were 17 mil drive, and that was why I bought all that stuff. And then I had GRPs already, but I just didn't like it for a number of reasons. Otherwise, that would have been my go-to as well. So yeah. Are you planning on doing speed runs this weekend? Yes, my plan is to run this on Sunday. So my plan is to get it out there and see what it will do. I'm hoping, obviously, that I only need a few runs to get, like I said, I'm going to do one calibration run with the stock radio. And then I'm planning to change over to my Futaba. So yeah, that's the whole plan. He seldom uses the proper tools or PPE. I have great tools, and I typically use great tools. For that situation, trying to find different pliers would have been very difficult. So no, I reject your snarky comment. Josh, did you give a thought of balancing the tires on this? Probably would have been reasonable. I didn't really think about it. I mean, at 70, it's probably something that would have been a reasonable thought for even more reasons, but I did not. So I also don't have a tire balancer. I know guys are using like the prop balancers, but no, I didn't. Pesky nose hair removal tool. Yeah. Proper is different than good tools. I was using the proper tool for the job. I continue to reject your snarky comments. Do you have a fancy Futaba? Love my 7PX. I don't have a 7PX. I never bought 7PX. I have 4PX and 4PMs, things like that, and I typically just use the 4PMs. So I generally don't even touch the 4PX. So for this one, I'm also planning to just use my 4PM and send it on its way. Balance, probably a good idea. The RPM at speed is crazy. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. The guy that puts bearings in everything and designs everything that can't whip up a tire balancer. I mean, I could. It's for, obviously it hasn't been something that I've needed at this point. So thinking of trading my 1-to-1 JKU Rubicon on a new Gladiator Rubicon. What say ye? I love my Gladiator. Still having my JKU. My Gladiator is my favorite thing. Did I hear PPE? Travis Gilmore in the house. He hears it and appears. Have you ever thought about washing those slicks in Simple Green, making them more stickier? I haven't with this. Being that there's 6 of them on this car, the getting traction has not been an issue. I've not found myself slipping or spinning for traction with this vehicle yet. So I guess that hasn't been something that I have just ever really considered. At least for this. I'm not saying for drag racing it's not a good idea, but for this one, not been something. Balancing tires is for nerds. Are there any TRX4 transmission fittings on any other chassis for a project build? Just wondering. Not that I know of. There's maybe a couple of other TRX4 chassis that you can use the skid plate for. But in general, you're kind of better off going with a different trans, and you can use the axles, but there's better axles to use just because TRX4s don't have like the best steering. Like I said, if you're trying to like go super capable, there's better platforms than the TRX4. TRX4 is fantastic for what it does, but if you're trying to go crazy custom super capable, it's probably not what I would say. Not what I would choose. You have all the tools to make one. Just saying. It's not a bad idea. I could do it. I could have them balanced tomorrow before a run on Sunday. Gladiators are not trucks. They are trucks. They have a frame and a bed on the back and doors in the front and a tailgate. Truck. Done. Bam. Stop flexing. I can't see straight. I didn't even notice that I was doing it. Balance issues quickly turn into wheel hop chatter. Could get out of control faster. Good luck either way. It's definitely a good suggestion. DK, serious question. Want to trade a 94 Honda Goldwing for a BS410? Oh, I do love motorcycles. I'm always up for a ridiculous trade too. But I don't know that riding a motorcycle in California is like the worst. I just can't. People out here are ridiculous. Better question. Why do you have a lead wing? I've seen some cool gold wings. I think I even know somebody who has a 94. I've been thinking about a Hyundai Santa Cruz. I figured it would be just like a Gladiator, except it doesn't pretend to be a real. Stabby Josh, been taken down a notch in my book. What would you say for a super capable trail truck? Trail truck. And do you want a comp style truck or a trail truck? Because those are two different things for me, I guess. A TRX4 is a good trail truck. You can build them well for that. You just got to stop putting so much brass on them. Would you go with an SCX10 2 axle instead? I do like SCX10 2 axles better as far as that goes. SCX10 3 straight axles are great as well. I really enjoyed those on that truck of mine, that silver truck of mine right there. Sport truck at best. Jeep more truck than most with solid. Hey, exactly. Solid axle. If Jeep made a van, would you buy one? Ooh, that's a good question, Jeremiah. That's kind of an SUV, right? It's a Jeep van. It's kind of just like a regular SUV. But if it was like a true van, like a Sprinter style, then yeah, I'd be up for that. Using BS410 chassis kit, AR45 straight axles, and the VP front upper link and panhard. When I compress the front suspension, there's some kind of binding. Check where it's rubbing. You gotta look around, see if it's rubbing on your shock cup, see if it's a link is rubbing somewhere and you need to adjust slightly. Yeah, you gotta look around to see where it's happening. There are a million gold wings for yeah, they're everywhere. Death Wish, yeah, Death in California riding a motorcycle. I kind of agree. I live in flat ass Illinois. I'm building a 16 by 32 scale out crawler area. Do I go 1/10 or 1/24 scale trails and build it? 1/10 scale. 1/24 is fun when you can't go run real toy trucks. Toy truck elitist. Hashtag. California roulette. You're gonna say that the Jeep Comanche, I think it was, it's a pickup too, because it has a bed, but it's unibody. So the Comanche technically had like a rear frame section and a front unibody that the rear frame section attached to the unibody of the Jeep part. I believe. I'm almost positive. Those were MJs. I'm almost positive that's how that went. What's the status on the 50-60K giveaway truck? The body should be done soon. So that's it. Once the body comes back, finally, we're done. The truck's been done. Just been waiting on the body, and we're back in business. I've never I'd never ride a moto in California. Been there once on vacation in the lane splitting. So, that is the other crazy. Watching people split traffic lanes in California on like full baggers in rush hour traffic at stoppage. Wild, wild. Um, it's got a radio, CB, heat, and a sweet tape deck. And it's Bermuda green, two-tone teal. Oh, I'm kind of into this idea. Oh man, I think I have got way behind on comments that I didn't notice. I think the TRX4 is the most customizable for upgrades and accessories, especially for heavy. Um, I I would disagree. I don't think the Traxxas is. I think the SCX-10-2 is probably more customizable yet, because you can get. I mean, you do absolutely everything, but still. I'm going to get one of the new Ford Mavericks and fight people that say it's not a truck. Aussie RC girl, thank you for the Australian $1.90. Much appreciated. DK talking about the Ford Maverick. My buddy Brandon, my coworker, he and I were talking about it, and he brought up. He goes, "It would be fun to get that new Ford Maverick truck, and it's independent suspension all the way around, but stance it, slam it, stance it, drive it around like that. Oh, people would lose their minds." Yes. I want a Jeep Wagoneer. Those are awesome as trucks. Rock crawler. I do the Waggies. I do like. I like the MJs for sure. Squints Paladors. Oh my God! Hey, I'm selling all my RCs to save up for a bulletproof Suburban. Just gotta have mad cash flow to afford only getting 4 miles per gallon. But the way the world seems like really good plan. Depend what Suburban. That's an interesting one. Quack RC, thank you much, sir. Got two 3S Gen Ace Adventure 36. Hey man, got two 3S Adventure 3 Hobby High Volt? I do not. I think I have one, maybe, one somewhere there. Holmes Hobbies, thank you, sir. Want me to balance the tires on my dynamic balancer? You know what, John? That's a really good point. We have a tool holder balancer at the shop. It like a $70,000 tool balancer. If I start mounting it up my tires, it should tell me exact. See, you got a good idea there. We use the other tools to make. The only thing is, I'd have to make a tool, balance the tool first, and then put the tire on there. And I should be. You're onto something, John. Oh, I know what I have too. I have got the other. This is the other rear axle shaft to the 3-wheel sidecar. I could put that into a collet, put that in the balancer, spin it up, specify the RPM, and tell me exactly what to do. Man, on top of it. Yes, use the tool balancer. The most expensive balanced set of tires ever. Ooh, that's a good idea. Going to get the 450L Honda and put Supermoto tires on it, split lanes as fast as I can. Yeah, I do like those Honda. The Honda Dual Sport with setup Supermoto. So that would be what I would if I was going to ride in California. Supermoto would be what I would also want to do. I just like the Supermoto. Something about it. I could balance them for you by eye. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I think your artistic balance, right? Balancing will help achieve speed easier. Yeah. I mean, the wobble of drive shafts and everything else in this thing. But I mean, it's still a good idea. I think normally these guys are doing it with like a little bit of putty inside the wheels is all. Indeed, make the tool balance tool. We start with that, put it on there, bolted it. The only thing I don't know is just how consistent the seating of a 12 mil hex is onto. You almost need to like put it on there, balance it, take the wheel off, rotate it 180 degrees, put it back on there, do it again, and see if it's the same. Seems like that would be the trick to see if it actually is consistent. You know, with all the plastic and whatnot. All for science. The only problem is that would mean going into the shop this weekend, which is going to be 115 degrees inside that building or more. Sea Fart Fire Truck, $2. Thank you, sir. Head start on the GoFundMe for a new balancer. The guy that can't get his antique school teacher's chair to stop squeaking can balance tires by eye. We need a CNC tool balancer at work. We keep going through 20K Haas spindles like water. Fatty Matty, that is partially why we bought the tool balancer. It is a, what is the brand? Something with an H. Why can't I not remember it now? It'll come to me. But yeah, we got it just to make sure because we were having some Matsura spindle issues and we were just making sure we ruled out everything. So any new tools, we put it in the balancer first, balance it to 20,000 RPMs, even though we only run 16 at max, and just make sure. But making sure a 40 taper tool like that is balanced properly is nice. Josh needs a balancer. I see STL Sunday coming back, people. Oh, I got a loose bolt. Oh, I need lock nuts back here. These bolts are not attached to anything. Let's fix that. Brian Sherwood. Say it again, Josh. Sea Fart Fire Truck. It's one of the best usernames. All right. That's a good idea to rotate and see how much it changes. Will give you an idea of the tolerance of the hex system. That's, yeah. I'm just thinking like plastic wheels, you know, getting smashed on by a lock nut into plastic. I always wonder just how much, you know, concentricity issues there is with that style system alone. Let's see if we can keep that one in there. Have you checked out RC Hotfield YouTube channel yet? It's my guy Chris Mix. I have not seen that. I don't catch a ton of RC footage, but I watch a lot of drag racing and all that stuff, you know. Whoops. I can never. Hold, please. I hit all kinds of buttons and made all of my screens disappear somehow. Oh, there we go. Anyway, okay. Josh, for the work you do, you should really look at 5X Fanuc Robo Drills. 24K spindles are amazing. Yeah, the Fanuc Robo Drills are nice. We actually use Brothers instead, and for some of that stuff. And they have the high speed spindles also. But for the big stuff, the Robo Drills can't touch like the Matsuras, the big, you know, H plus 300s and stuff like that, especially for the automation. The Robo Drills are cool and nice, but we do like the Brothers instead. And Matsuras for the big machines. Right. Now we got that finished up. So I'm glad we got the pinion done. It does sound smooth still though. That's good. What's with the blank hat? basically all the hats I wear are blank. I just, with doing video all the time, I just kind of prefer unbranded hats. I wear branded shirts all the time, but I wear the same hat for lengths of time. And I would just, it's one of those things. So I was just like, I just preferred wearing blank hats then. Let's also consider how much rubber moves when you balloon. Your target RPM will change the balance. Engineers. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, especially these are belted tire. So, I mean, maybe that would change less, but maybe the forces with the sidewalls would change more. Ooh. Somebody was asking how much this weighs, and I saw that pass by, but didn't see. I should have my scale handy from the heavy metal Bronco. What did I do with it? There. I 3D printed some mounts for the scale that I have yet to attach so that I can keep it handy but out of the way. So, all right, we're going to put this on here first. Okay, put that on, and we'll drop the body. Any guesses what this thing weighs? We'll see. Wasn't a long. Oh, sorry, I missed. Must have missed something. Josh is just plain. Yeah, just that's any chance on a Vanquish shop tour video? I don't know. We've talked about it before, but for a lot of reasons we don't do it. Robo-drills are cute. I've ran lathes that could turn one. Yeah, the Robo-drills are, but that's why we like the Brothers too. Crazy fast tool changes. I worked with Citizen machines for a while. Stuff fascinates me. Citizens are what I'm running now. That's what I've moved over to programming and setting up the Citizens. So it is crazy how tight and compact and everything is. So got two L20 Citizens. One of them, well, they both have the adjustable guide bushing, but one of them's done to 1 inch, so we can run, full 1 inch material rather than just 20 mil. So Holmes Hobbies, thank you, sir. A donation for the soon to be damaged tool balancer. All right, let's look at these guesses. 12, 11, 15, 13, 18, 14, 9 pounds, 10 ounces. 9 pounds, 13, 7, 10, 5, 12, 5, 15, 23. So Ron G was closest. He said 9 pounds, 10 ounces, and the actual number, 9 pounds, 12 ounces. So we cut a lot of weight out of this thing by removing all of the portal boxes, by removing all of the inner fenders, the cutting a lot. The new carbon, this carbon plate is 1.5 mil mainly. This rear stuff in here, back here, is 0.5 mil. So a lot, the 3D printed parts, let me see if I can, can you, it is hard to, okay, yeah, see down in there? The 3D printed parts that hold on like these outside side skirts, you can see down in there. They're all lightened up as much as possible to keep them minimal. So there you can see 8 pounds, 11. I should be able to take it off. Should go to 0, 0. So 8 pounds, 11. Drop the body on 9 pounds, 12.2. Batteries need include. Oh, that is true. The batteries, that's not an insignificant amount of weight, but don't know where that the 6S pack for this is. I love the commitment giving the challenges over. Yeah, I just want to, we put the much larger motor in it because I just wanted to try and push this thing to 70. So much larger motor now, which meant that it occupied the area where the servo used to go here. So you can see that carbon fiber plate, that is the new servo mount. And to try and keep geometry the same, I calculated the center point of the end of the steering arm and then rotated the servo about that. So while it moves in an opposite sweeping arc than now the knuckle arms actually move, it should be still close to the geometry. Not exact, but close. I sold the Swiss tooling, crazy tolerances, and tiny parts now to convince the girlfriend to let me get a 3D printer. Bro, why did you choose the TRX-6? Because it's ridiculous to try and make a high-speed car out of. That was the whole point, is that it's a terrible choice for a high-speed car. It is a crawler. So the point of this project initially was it was our Monthly Mayhem series, which meant take a car that's not supposed to do something and make it do that thing. Bought first VP 1.9 methods, was shocked at how lightweight they are. Definitely be buying more. Yes, they are lightweight. They're as minimal as they can be for what we have there. A lot lighter than it looks. And I mean, we cut so much. The inner fenders on these are extremely heavy, especially the huge rear inner fenders. The portal boxes all have a significant amount of weight as well. Just the amount of heft of those gears times 6 is, I mean, it's just these little blocks. They're crazy. Oh no, he said, oh, I forgot to add that to the filtered words. I can do that. Can I do it from in here? No. Ooh, pop-out chat. I've never seen that. Oh, it's new. Well, isn't that handy? That saves me so much things that I don't need anymore. I learn something new on YouTube all the time just because someone was see. What's the gear calculator say it'll do on 8S? Oh, I don't know that mode. So I was calculating my 6S setup as a 5S, just because they sometimes say that is the more conservative way. So we'll go to 7S. 115 miles an hour, which at that speed, I'm pretty sure that the diffs would all melt. It was crazy. When I was running this the first time, I would shoot the diffs with my infrared gun. And it would, the plastic housing itself was like 125, 130, depending on which one and how fast the run was. So I can only imagine what the heat of the pinion gear itself was. And that is one thing that I need to be concerned about with the speed, is making sure that the drive shafts don't heat up through the pinion gears so much that I end up melting the joints and the contacts. So it's no joke. There is a lot of heat generated in a system like that. Now, could I open it up and re-grease everything and hopefully try and reduce some heat? Yeah. Or, Furtus here, wonder how many heat cycles you'll get. That's a great point, because you heat the housings and things like that up over and over and over. You'll weaken it, and then over time what will likely happen is that the pinion will be allowed to walk away from the ring gear. And if you end up blowing a ring gear, then that's the time where you normally end up seeing that failure. And people will just replace a ring gear when what you actually need to do is replace the axle housing and the ring gear. Otherwise, you're going to end up replacing them all over and over. I'll bring my 6S and 8S for my infraction. I will let you know where we're running on Sunday. They're going to melt before they get to run. 110 degrees outside. Yeah, I know. I mean, I am the person who's not a morning person, but that's the spot I have been running is not too far from my house. My concern is that I don't run out of radio range. The section that I'm running is a curbed section, so I don't want to destroy this thing on curbs, but you never know. Are you going to film the runs? Absolutely. I'm going to. Hopefully, I had already talked to Moose Jaw to see if he was available. He said he was possibly available on Sunday, so I'll have another person who may be able to get like some actual footage of it. Put ice on them. Start icing them down, or get a fan on them in between runs. I definitely need to make sure that I'm monitoring everything between runs to make sure that I'm not building too much heat and then I make parts fail because of that, rather than because of reasons that they would fail generally anyway. So, is this the world's fastest TRX6? It is, as far as I'm aware. Previous record I set with it, slightly faster than Matt's, just barely, at 65. Matt hit 60. 60? Matt, is that right? He hit 60 and then a curb all at once. And he took the frame rails and he folded them underneath of the front axle, which was more than impressive. It's especially if you've never looked like closely at the TRX 4 or 6 frame rails and how beefy they are, to be able to to take those things underneath of the vehicle, absolutely insane. Frame rails turned into ram's horns. Yeah, exactly. You could hear the energy through your headphones when watching Matt's video. Matt has a better 60-0 time than Josh. Yeah. I just have never heard energy dissipated like that in an RC video. Like, you hear these guys jumping 8S vehicles to the moon, flat to ground, and they don't sound anything like that truck hitting a curb. Is this a kit you put on it? I designed it. So I designed it and cut all the carbon fiber. We did it all in Fusion 360. So there's a whole series on this. You can kind of see as it progressed. But yeah, designed all of this, all the mounts. We took everything and turned it into to try and make it look like this. So I cut the carbon fiber on my CNC router. I put all, during the actual challenge, we had, I've got a broken 3D printed mount. I should reprint that. I'm going to open Cura so that I don't forget. Because, how's this side look? Oh, I've got 2 different designs. That's interesting. I wonder which one is the most updated. Farbenkyber, yes. But this is real carbon fiber, not Farbenkyber. Shugu it. Now I want the good stuff. I need a good print. There's no, because these outside panels, while they're not going to do much, the panel behind it that you can see that's backing it there is curved. So this is going to see air pressure, and this will likely then move out, and it would start vibrating and flapping, and That's not cool. Plus, I've got a new printer that's way better than when I first did this. So, TRX6, I'm looking at all my font. Lower side dam upper, lower side dam base, version 3. Let's see what my version 3 looked like. Yes. Okay, the one that's not broken is my most currentist. I'm going to multiply that model and mirror it so that I have one of each. There we go. I might as well print them both so that they have the same print quality on both sides. There we go. Reprint by Sunday for the win. Oh, yes. I will start the print on this as soon as this stream is over. What? No Shugu? Come on, MacGyver. We're only high end with this stuff, right? F Charger Jordan F. Thank you, sir. Hey, installed the RC four-wheel drive reverse mount leaf spring hangers on my RC four-wheel drive TF2. Will the RC four-wheel drive Z boxes work with the reverse hangers if relevant? I have the RC four-wheel drive soft leaf springs and stuff. So the Z boxes, those would have normally gone. You know what? I don't see as many people using Z boxes in the front. I imagine the reverse mounts, those are for the front, right? So I suppose they. Oh, I don't know if they would. That's an interesting one. Did a screw fall out under on the tail under the truck? Brad, what are you trying to get me to? I mean, a screw is definitely. Oh, this was the screw that I used to start the mount, so it didn't fall out. But Jordan, I think that the Z boxes are best used on the rear. I think I have seen people use those boxes on the front, but it seems like can't use on the front if the R3 trans is used. Okay, so that makes sense. I think in the rear you should still be able to though, because the rear mounts are both flat. So reverse mounts are for the front. If I recall, you can use the Z boxes on either side. There you go. That's a Matt question. Yeah, it is mainly a Matt question, but I always do enjoy when people start trying to make leaf springs do things, like actually move around. So I have seen those things. I've seen them in the real world as well, which is an interesting one. 3D print tire punch. Wait, what? Punch? Z boxes rear only. That's what I thought. So interesting. But yeah. But at the point the soft leaves, you're going to have a ton of weird flex. Yeah, Z boxes and soft springs, trying to make that leaf spring do something. You know what you should do instead is 4-link it. Make it better. Have you ever heard of Q-bond? I do not know what Q-bond is. It sounds like a glue, but I am unaware. Broken components at speed. 4-link for the win. Telling you. So what is, sorry. Wait, what? Okay. I'm glad I got the pinion done. We've got tires on, motor on, or pinion on the motor. Gearing's figured out. Feel confident there. I need to just make sure my battery's charged, get that in there. I'm going to secure this receiver for now, but the only other thing I need to do, I think, is just get some wires zip tied to make sure they don't start flapping where they don't need to be flapping. And get them routed underneath of this other cable. 4-link equals 0 axle wrap. I know, right? Amazing idea. Performance for days. No downside. Helps everybody. Hurts nobody. Grows the economy. Sorry. I know it's my own rule. No politics in here. So my massive roll of double-sided tape was dwindling, so I had to get another one as well. Best convo is leaf springs and VP curries. Makes Josh feel neutral. It's like, how can I feel so mad, but contempt at the same time? Have you run this beast yet? I have ran it before, and that's when we did 63. We ran it. We had 1 month to build it. It was Matt at the Scale Builders Guild and myself. He built his version, I built mine, and we competed head to head. And he was ahead of me for a week, which was shocking to all of us. And I don't know what I was doing wrong at the time, but Matt took the lead, and then we both crashed. We both crashed 1 week. I hit myself with the truck, did some significant body damage to the truck, but I never ended up changing the body. I just tried to kind of work it out. And it's still noticeable if you see the truck in person, but that's, beyond that. Needs to make some brass leaf springs. God. If we made brass leaf springs, people with TRX4s would buy them. Be like, listen, these are heavier than your shocks. Okay, I'll buy it. Okay. Double-sided taped in. Matt competed head to curve, don't you mean? Oh, that was a special. It was a special week for us all. Are there videos of the runs? Yes. Look up TRX6 Monthly Mayhem. You'll find 5 episodes each from Matt and I, so 10 total episodes, and you can see the entire evolution of the project from a very bone stock TRX6 in week 1, where we both tested it, and the stock top speed was 11 miles an hour. And we got it up to the spoiler already of 65. But it's absolutely worth watching the full series. It's very enjoyable. I've even gone back and watched it because I had a great time doing it, and you left the differential locked. I think that was the first week, though, or the second week, technically. And I couldn't hardly do anything without it just going nuts. That was truly scary, because I just did not. I was just like, oh, this thing is not ever going to go fast. I'm screwed. And then I figured out, yes, that I had the diffs locked. But, and actually, for that reason, I do feel like we should get like I said, I had extra stickers from when we did this thing. So what else do I have here? We've got another Monthly Mayhem. Whoop. We've got another Do It for Dale. So I feel like I need to put the diff lock one back. I have the old. So this was the original underpan for this vehicle, and I had the diff lock one on there. I feel like that needs to go back on. So I need to take and put this one on here, because that was what is the new month? We have not, we have the ideas. We have to still pitch them to the companies and see if they agree, but then we'll go from there. So this was the original. You can see that the outsides of this are broken off. One of the pieces, see that right there? That's the one that said, ooh, why can't I do that right there? That's the end piece that said "Do It for Dale," that blew off on the first run. So with the belted tires, and I increased the distance to these rear end caps a little bit, so they shouldn't explode anymore. But this one was made out of expanded PVC, which is this is a thick material. You can kind of see it's probably a little bit more than 1/8 inch thick, but it's super lightweight. It's a really impressive material for certain things, but not as impressive as carbon fiber. So that's why. And then the outsides of the lower air of these, side dams were just 3D printed versions. So that's why I changed it to these carbon fiber outers. But anyway, I still kept this thing around. I need to toss it. This part can get thrown away now, I think. I mean, it's just a great big ass piece of plastic that's not really needed. But the new setup is also much more rigid. There is no support in the center of the truck. So you can see there, I don't feel like it should be moving that much. Oh, it shouldn't be. I didn't bolt on see? That's why I need to do these. I bolted on either side. I bolted it on that side. Oh. This is the side with the broken piece, and I knew I needed to replace it at some point and forgot. So, because this side's solid. It's this side that's not. So when I reprint that mount, everything will be fixed. Georgia F, Charger Jordan F, thank you again. Don't tell the female, but I saw the Archfield Drive Beast 2 kit. I asked for it hidden in her closet. Shame Father's Day isn't a 3-day event starting today. Oh, yes. That does look like kind of a cool truck. I agree. Huge. It seems like I may have a link problem trying to lengthen and shorten to see which one does better. Little tuning never hurt anybody. I said, save those 900 screws, right? I'm not a big screw saver. I pitch. I just throw away screws. It's because they have already become unorganized, and I don't know what size, and I'm not going to resort by size. So generally, when screws come out, they get thrown away. So let's wipe some fingerprints off. Make sure we have a nice clean surface. Yes, this is obviously more important than making sure things are attached properly. So I'm going to put our diff lock. All right. Make sure it all sticks to the mask. What do you call that? What do you call the outside paper of these things? Especially as stickers get older, they don't like to come off as easy. There we go. Got it. All right. Transfer paper. Make sure we don't get any bubbles. Granted, all this line work pretty thin. Shouldn't be much of a concern. There we go. It's crooked. It's not that crooked. Crooked. It's not that crooked. I mean, it's not super centered, but I mean, it's gonna be scraping against the ground. I'm not super worried. It's more for effect. I think it was just partially the transfer paper. It's not. I mean, it's pretty straight. Don't worry about it being crooked. It's fine. So I feel like another monthly mayhem would look good somewhere, but I don't really have any other good places, so I don't know that that's going to happen. There's some good places underneath that are hard to see, but I know it's bothering you. It's crooked. Shut it, Robert. It's totally not bothering. It's fine. It's fine. That doesn't bother me. Don't, even if it bothers me right now, I will forget so quickly that it's fine. It's okay. Just like the shelf. The shelf is square. I don't care. I've proven it on video with a level. It just looks crooked. I don't know why. It's square. It is level. It's the camera angle. Like those shelves are also level and they look all kinds of wonky. It's just, it's, if you continued that line, it would look just like those. See? Okay, we're good. I need to reprint the mounts on this side because of that. So we're going to, that's fine though, because I'll get that printing right after this show. And I've got all the wiring zip tied already. Feel fine there, except this piece of wiring, which was rubbing on the drive shaft. A couple of zip ties here. And I need one more zip tie. High Speed Curb Finders Club. Oh, I'm only nervous to drive this car now because of how much carbon fiber is on the bottom and how much money it costs me in carbon fiber. Like it's you know, it I've got, I don't know, maybe $200 in carbon fiber in this truck now. It was totally necessary though. It's definitely going to affect the speeds zero compared to what I had, but it's carbon fiber now. Okay, I'm gonna roll those zip ties around, make sure everything is good. I'm just trying to keep the ESC wire that comes from this side, it goes underneath of my battery tray, but it runs right over top of where the drive shaft goes. So I did not want it interfering in that area. We're going to put one more zip tie here. Did you even try? Jesse, I'm not responding to you. Okay. I think that we have an actual shot of this car doing 70 plus this weekend. And for that reason, I am truly excited. No matter how nervous I am to scratch all my fancy carbon fiber, hopefully not destroy the car. But I'm truly, truly excited for that. So getting all the tires in place. Dan got them glued well. He did a good job. They look good. There's not glue coming out everywhere like I was worried about. Oh, you know what, though? I do need to vent these because... Oh, that one's vented. Vented. Okay, they're all breathing well. This set did not breathe at all, even though there's breather holes in. Oh, I know exactly why. I know exactly why. I've got the Crawler Innovations single stage closed cell foams in these. So the foam themselves won't expand. The tire still did. So the tire still grew, but the foam didn't. However, the foam, since it's closed cell, it doesn't allow air to pass through. So these things were building air pressure inside and not allowing to come out the vent hole. So if you watch the Monthly Mayhem series, when I was going, these tires were like, you could see the air pressure that was built up in them. And the tires themselves were getting to like in the 115, 120, range. So they were getting hot and building serious pressure. The shelf is square, sure, but is it level? It's level. Carbon fiber crunch is no bueno for sure. Honestly, if the carbon fiber on this does get smashed, I will redo it. I think that this car looks so cool the way that it is that I want it finished in the awesome carbon fiber look. If it has some scuffs on it, that's fine. I won't worry about it. But if I end up wadding this car up, it goes tumbling and absolutely just shatters a piece of the carbon, I will absolutely just remachine the carbon fiber because I love how the aero came out this time. Hopefully I can find and salvage all of the titanium hardware I put in it. That was another thing I bought, all the titanium hardware. Oh, I definitely was not feeling shy. I loved this project, and the video series with Matt, this one was definitely one of our most fun to do. So for that reason, I was full, even though the video series part with Matt is over. Well, not total, because Matt and I are both. This is going to be a follow-up episode of the series. I'm going to do the follow-up of this. Matt has, if you guys watched his live feed the other day, he did a follow-up where his is back to a TRX-6. Like, it's fully functional trail truck again. So we're going to just do a follow-up, where are they now episode. Moose Jaw, I will film Josh's reaction if that happens. Yeah. Good or bad, the reaction should be my biggest fear is that the truck just does 65 miles an hour again, like the exact same speed. I will be gutted. Like, if it needs to either go faster or explode. Those are the only two things that I will accept as a result. This ESC is capable of 8S. It'll be what it'll be. Scott O'Blander, thank you, sir. Good coverage last weekend. Wanting to do a flat rail VFD build with Air 45 straight axles. What's a good resource to help me learn how to determine custom link links for panhard, etc.? Scott, I don't have like a great resource to give you on that. It's one of those things like, so I did it live. The very first week of the, I was doing that Sunday stream that I had labeled RC CarCast. The very first week that's when I went through the process of determining what links I needed for that. If you wanted to, I would key up that live feed and watch that. Because beyond that, I don't have a great resource to point you to. Not that isn't like a viable video idea. Yeah. I don't know. Part of the thing is like those are good videos. I know like nobody will watch. There'll be like 50 of you guys who would truly appreciate that and use that as a resource. But for the most part, people are just like never going to watch that. So it's one of those things like, and if you have a bunch of bummer videos, then YouTube like stops suggesting your videos to other people. So there's so many of those ones like I would like to do, but I know, it's like bringing down your average, which is bullshit. And I hate that part of it, but it's part of it. As much money as it takes to try and keep making content, you have to you want to try and make sure that you keep making videos that get suggested by YouTube and the algorithm and ugh. When you crash it, Moose Jaw will have a shoulder for you to cry on. I will likely just sit over top of it in silence. Just I have to say that Matt's composure when he destroyed it, like you see all kinds of YouTube channels, both RC and non, where people like destroy a car. And I'm not saying that I haven't destroyed an RC car in certain situations before, but especially a nicer quality RC, like truly destroying it is just, man, it's hard to watch. Hard to watch. I have a hard time watching any of those type of videos. Who else makes flow-through differentials for 6x6 builds? Axial AR60 axles, which are much larger, but you can get pass-through rear covers for those. So there's an option. Just don't have Nicole be around Josh when Josh crashes the TRX6. She would point and laugh. She was there when I burned down my Axial Exo. That was a bummer move too. SCX-10-3 portals fit onto the TRX4 platform. I don't know. It's a possibility. At the same time, I would have to ask why. Like, why would you? The TRX4 platform and the SCX3 platform axles are not that different. So, I don't know. Oh, I am dropping frames. Hopefully that returns. And it should be coming back. Hold, please. Yes, we're dropping, but it does appear that they fit. Chibs has done it, so you can put them underneath there. People have done it. But okay, frame feed rate back to normal acceptable levels. But now let's clean some of this stuff up. When I ran into myself with this, you can see. So you can see the body damage in this corner. I've repaired it for the most part. You can still see some of the bent trim and the deformed Lexan. There's a lot of inside of these bodies, there's a lot of like this plastic stuff, and you can see it kind of wraps around the corner up here. And on the other side where I hit myself, that's all gone. It's all been broken and exploded and missing. So, chicks dig scars, Joe. I have plenty of scars. The amount of scars I have has been high since I was very small. I'm not looking for more. You vet diff lock with TR4. Oh, get diff locks with TR4 axles. Yeah. Granted, if you're doing like competition or like, you know, like if you're going for ultimate performance, you never see anybody running open diffs. Excuse me. Why are you hitting yourself? Why quit hitting yourself? Did you watch a video of Whistling Diesel dropping a Toyota Hilux from a helicopter? I have not seen it yet. I saw it pop up on my feed. I don't watch all of Whistling Diesel's videos. I've seen some of them, but not all. I don't know if that one's one that is high on my click through list, but I saw him, the one where he said he was doing all the stuff in Moab. I'm like, okay, that I could actually watch. But I'm going to hit print on the printer. Everything else here is good. We've got our new receiver to drop in when it's time. That's it, really. I got to put the GNSS in here. That's not a big deal, though. Currently, it's sitting on the back of my drag slash. That's what I should do, is make Moose Jaw race me with this and the drag slash. That would be a good companion to it. Nicole using up the Wi-Fi. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of, this has been pretty solid stream, but I think that we are going to call this one earlier tonight. So we'll get in. We'll just do another 5. We'll go 8:15 my time, and then we'll call this thing. And I had that same power system in my EMAC. Yeah, in an EMAX, big monster truck thing versus TRX6, just trying to go straight, turning small tires. That's my favorite part about this. The absolute absurdity of this. So which do you prefer? Flat rail chassis with SCX3 straight axles or VS410 chassis with TRX4 axles? So that's a super interesting kind of combination or question between them. You know, I built my VS410 chassis with the TRX4 axles. I built that as like a fun trail rig, and it actually was a lot of fun. I put a cage in the back, which was heavy, but it was still just a fun truck that I liked the looks of. Now, granted, I wouldn't take that truck and try and go compete like I did with that truck last weekend. But if, like, for a class 1, I still think that a VS410 chassis with a VFD, and if you're trying to build from scratch by like available parts, then, you know, I think that the SCX10 3 axles on a VS410 chassis are still totally viable. I think it's really just, you know, different tools for different jobs. If I'm building a trail truck, I'm probably doing VS410 chassis though. Like, that's just, if I'm not planning to go compete, I'm going to stay with a C-channel rail just because I prefer that, you know, 99 out of 100 times. So there you go. I think you'd smoke that drag slash. I think the problem would be that this is such a heavy vehicle that getting out of the, you know, from a dead stop, this is going to be much harder than the drag slash. That drag slash, light vehicle, good traction, wheelie bar, I think it'll rip away from me. Where I think this one will not be able to get off the line like that drag slash. So, or go nearly as straight off the line. I think this thing wants to kind of torque steer around. Maybe some super heavy sway bars, I'd have a better chance, but we'll see. I think, you know, trying to get this thing to leave from a dig could be fun. So yeah, 6x6 looks good. Got one for the wife. Then she was like, oh, okay, Landry. The 6x6 builds are actually super fun trail trucks too, which I never would have been on that path before. A rolling start, that's an interesting one. 2S in the drag slash, 6S in this. Could it do it from a dig, from a rolling? Now, one other thing on this truck that has bugged me is that when we were doing this build, I hadn't done any carbon fiber, and I built that rear wing for it with the carbon, but that's actually just ABS with a carbon sticker on it. So I've got poser carbon up top and real carbon down here. I feel like I need to, depending on how well this weekend goes, will depend on if I make myself a nice true carbon fiber rear wing. That's how I'll do it. If I hit 70, I'm making myself a new carbon fiber rear wing. It's been decided. And it has been decided that it is 8:15. And for tonight, that is going to do it for this stream. So, thank you all for joining. It's been a great time. I'm excited to go run this. I'm excited to shoot some video. So, stick around for that. Matt and I will figure out when that will air. I don't think that I'm going to I'm not going to reveal the results until after Matt and I post the video. I know Moose Jaw can keep a secret. I've got him under contract. So, thanks everybody. Have a good time this weekend. Stay cool. If it's stupid hot where you are like it is here, that's going to do it. So, we'll see you. No more Sunday streams. So, I won't see you guys Sunday. I'm taking Sundays off of live streaming at least. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys have a good weekend. We will see you soon. Later.